Angus Young, 59 today. Happy birthday. Al Gore, 66 today.
Ooh, inventor of the internet and global warming.
Christopher Walken, 71.
Oh, 71.
And Mrs. Partridge.
Shirley Jones?
80.
80 years old, Mrs. Partridge. And 80 years old, wow.
80 years old.
Mr. Kincaid's dead.
How did that Noah movie do over the weekend?
Pretty good.
Rich Voss called me over the weekend, yesterday, I guess.
What does a Jew know about that?
And he was going to see Noah with his fine wife, Bonnie, who was celebrating a birthday.
Yeah.
And I laughed at him because I said this movie was getting bad reviews, but even a bad movie just does very well at the box office, huh? 44 million. That's a good opening weekend.
That is a hell of a weekend there.
That's a boat movie right there.
A lot of people were under the misconception that it was very religious-based, I guess. But it's kind of a story about Noah taken from, of course, the Bible. And made into just kind of an action movie.
Right.
Kind of a, they don't really reference all the God stuff. It's hey, there's going to be this giant flood. Here's what you need to do, and here's what, the hardships you're going to have to endure. So it's more of just a kind of an action-filled movie.
How do they explain getting the animals?
I don't know. I think there's some magic going on, because they said, the creator. They reference God as the creator, not God or
And they don't say God?
No.
They were too scared to say God.
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't want to, kind of divvy up the audience and make it like, okay, is this a Catholic Christian movie? Or
if you're going to make a movie about Noah, you got to reference God. Even if you don't say God or,
they said the creator.
The creator.
They didn't really go with the God thing.
That's weird.
What did Noah call him, though? And back in those days, how did they
Hank,
talk?
which is odd.
Hank.
He, I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Well, don't they say he lived to be 900, Noah?
I don't know.
Fucking...
This one begat that one begat.
It's a whole chapter. That's all it is.
I know.
You could skip that chapter.
Skip right through that.
Easily, yes.
Hey, is it 3D?
Everything's 3D.
Is it?
I don't know. Is it?
I would
So you
assume
see it in IMAX.
I would assume it's 3D.
Yeah, there's IMAX 3D for this.
It has to be.
I am.
You can't put a movie out without a 3D alternative.
Look, Noah drives a car. April Fools.
You're close.
But what about the boat? Could someone call us? How big was the boat, and did they try to get all
There's
those...
a few cubits one way, some cubits this way, another few cubits that way. And since you don't even know what a fucking cubit is, who knows?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It's what you tell someone to do when they have a circle. Tell them it's a cubit.
I thought it was a little fucking cherub that shot arrows into Valentine's Day.
That's Cupid. That's different.
Shut the fuck up.
The hipsters are smoking coffee.
Why? That's like kind of legal.
It says screw pot and what else do they say? Cigarettes. They're smoking coffee. What's that about?
But is it literally like smoking it out of a pipe?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Or do they smoke it and then brew it? I don't know.
There it is. Forget tobacco, pot. Teens turn to smoking coffee. Could we just play this?
These wacky teens.
They're smoking coffee. The Opster would have smoked coffee.
Oh, this is in a way never thought of before. They're smoking it. Coffee smoking is a dangerous new trend that's going viral.
Why is it
among
dangerous?
teens.
I don't know.
We've heard of people eating coffee beans, but
What?
smoking them is a whole other thing.
Whoa.
There are websites popping up online that will teach kids
thanks
step
for telling
by
us
step
that.
how to roll their own.
Yeah, this is what I hate about the news.
We're about to legalize marijuana.
They're turning
all over
everyone
the
on
United
to this.
States.
Yeah.
think
I would
we
have
can
never
live
known
without
about
Who
this.
would have known?
beanheads. Something a young person would do, and no geezer would ever do this, and that's part of the charm of it.
What does it do?
But the side effects can be dangerous. People have reported trouble breathing, dizziness, vomiting, even hallucinations.
That sounds cool.
Whatever. Let's smoke some coffee today.
Yeah,
How do you do it?
I would just take some coffee granules,
Right.
espresso.
Right.
Well, espresso might be too thin.
Do you mix it with a
Like
cigarette
powdery.
a little bit, or maybe
A little tobacco, keep it burning nice,
Right.
even, and smoke up, dude.
Smoke up.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know. That just sounds stupid.
So the Noah
I bet
thing.
no one's doing that.
So the Noah thing, they don't really explain this. Did he collect the animals or not? Or did they blow off that part of the story?
Well, I think even in the Bible, Noah has like God's help, right? With getting the animals.
The creator's help.
So it's magic.
Oh.
They use magic.
Oh.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Every time you can't explain something from the Bible, you just use magic because God uses magic.
Nice.
That's all you need to know.
You push it for UConn? Now that they're in the Final Four?
They're my team. They have been since the start. I said it was going to be UConn.
With Shabazz? You all in with Shabazz?
Huh? What's that?
All right.
Yes, Shabazz.
There's Shabazz.
I'm all about UConn, but somebody said they're just not going to beat, Florida? Huh? What?
Yeah, you got Florida in there still. You got Kentucky in there. You got UConn. Who's the last team? Wisconsin. Thank you, Sam Roberts, who doesn't watch basketball.
I don't think a lot of people saying UConn not going to get past the Gators.
Well,
but
the Gators are tough.
But you know the last time the Gators lost in a competition in the Final Four? Who was it against?
I'm not helping you.
UConn. Thank you. Whoa. It's my sports break. Just regurgitating everything I heard on 1010 Wins on my drive in. And while I was going, get off the sports, get to traffic.
I know. By the way, Justin Stangl has a perfect bracket still.
Does he?
Yep, he announced it on Twitter last night. Perfect bracket still.
I'm going out on a limb here. He's lying.
He's not lying. He just isn't part of that whole $1 billion thing. Payoff from what's his name?
Oh, you should have been on that then.
From Buffett. But he has a perfect bracket
Jimmy?
still.
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett's. Yeah, I think he's in the Jimmy Buffett.
The Jimmy Buffett bracket thing is a lot different.
Thing, yeah.
You win a margarita.
Wow.
It's great. And a little parrot hat.
This guy's going to tell us how they got all the animals on the boat in that movie.
Oh!
I remember as a kid when I was learning about Noah.
I taught you to smile.
At religion class.
Yeah.
You never went to religion class?
I went to catechism.
Did you go to religion class?
What's the difference?
You had to go to some strange couple's house.
Oh, fuck, you got molested. I so didn't do that. I went to St. Anthony of Padua's church there, and they had a school there.
And it was the most depressing family ever, was teaching the religion class, and you could tell they had major problems in their household.
Of course they did. It's the only reason they're doing it.
And we had to learn about Noah, and I remember even being a little kid going, how the fuck did they get all those animals on a boat? Why doesn't anyone explain this to me?
That is the real deal breaker when a kid is learning about the Bible, is the Noah story. Because then you're like, wait, even I can understand this.
Well, according to Neil Tyson... Oh, they didn't do bugs, though. Never mind. You know, there's over 1 million different beetles alone.
Yeah. They took bugs on the ark, didn't they?
I thought it was just animals.
Well, bugs are animals. Everything that didn't get on the boat died.
It must suck, though, to be on the boat and a mosquito lands on you and you can't swat it. Not that you would have in that video.
Brush it off like Opie did.
But you imagine that?
The mosquito was fine.
There's a bee fucking somewhere and you're like, kill a bee. Don't!
Yeah. No, we need them.
Exactly. We'll never have good graham crackers if you don't. See, honey?
Honey.
Because the bees will be dead.
I know that there was an edit that went on when they got all the stories for the Bible. They probably should have said the Noah one's going to be a rough one.
This one's going to be tough for people to swallow.
Yeah, so maybe we blow this one off.
Yeah. They liked it, though. They went with it.
People actually look at that and think it really happened that way. It's almost like it's just childish to think that. It's childish.
It's unbelievably childish.
Bill in Georgia. Bill.
Hello, Bill.
Hey, I know how they did it in the movie.
How?
It was CGI.
Oh, see, they used CGI to do it in the movie.
Oh, so they must have did CGI back in Noah's time.
Yeah.
Did they really show all the animals on the boat?
Yeah.
This never happens in my real life.
People don't just hang up in the middle of a conversation.
There's like sort of an ending.
How you doing?
Or a follow-up?
It's like old 70s TV show phone calls.
Yeah.
When they're like, hello?
Right.
All right, I'll see you then at noon. Click. And
they never say goodbye
they don't
on
say
TV.
Goodbye. I guess they just figure it as a waste of time.
Yeah,
you assume they're going to
They could save a second or two, right?
Yeah.
All right, and they both know they just hang up.
Yeah.
That never happened.
Date is at 8. Click. Wait a minute, what happened?
But where? We don't have cell phones yet.
Cannon.
Steve in Orange County.
Yeah, when I was a kid, going to full-blown Catholic school, elementary school, we're trying to figure out Noah's Ark. And my genius cousin from Mineola says, well, if Noah's Ark is true, where do transvestites come from? And I didn't even know what a transvestite was.
Oh.
It took me a while to figure that out. Where do transvestites come from?
Well, I'll field this one. I don't think that they come from anywhere, sir. I think that was just a natural progression.
Jimmy will send you Google Maps, and he'll let you know where they come from.
Yeah, I would say, sir, that as what happened was as ladies began to develop more, they branched out.
Oh, okay.
So is it natural? Is it natural selection or unnatural selection?
Oh, I think it's very natural.
Natural selection.
That's
okay.
nature's way of going. These lovely ladies won't be having children, so we can kind of cut off the reproductive cycle of human beings.
Sure.
Steve, you feeling those earthquakes out there?
No, I'm in Orange County, New York.
Oh, that's different.
We thought you were from the OC.
I thought you were from the OC, too.
No, this is the real Orange County.
I don't think anyone in the OC really.
They're saying
they did in Anaheim.
They're saying the big one's coming for L.A. This is a sign that the big one's coming.
They always say that.
But a lot of tremors. What, over 100 tremors over the weekend alone or something like that? That's a lot, right?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think
would
that's
guess
a lot.
it is.
All right.
Punch out, guys. Have a good day.
All right, we got a guy that saw the movie and reads the Bible. This could help us out.
Oh, good.
Jeff in Kentucky. Oh, it's this guy. Oh. Is this your guy?
Easy.
No, that's Larry.
Oh, all right. Thank God. All right. What's up, Jeff? Sorry, I thought you were Larry.
No. Yeah, I saw the movie over the weekend, and I went back and read the passages of the Bible about Noah just to see how close the movie really was. And, parts of it they got right, and then parts of it they wildly embellished on. So, they had to have
Isn't the whole
You
thing
mean
a
the
wild
Bible?
embellishment?
You mean they embellished on that true story?
I thought he meant the
they
Bible.
embellished on what's written in the Bible.
Okay,
Right,
fair
right.
enough.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, sir.
We were going for a joke.
Yeah.
Fair enough, sir.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So, how did they get the animals into the Bible, into the ark?
Into the Bible. Both in the Bible and in the movie, God, or the Creator, as they refer to him in the movie, it calls the animals to go to Noah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's like that. He can just call the animals, so that's how. If he had to round them up, that would be a
So why
problem.
couldn't God just make a big hill and stick the animals on that?
Yeah.
Why does fucking Noah have to build a boat and get every animal? By the way, people who believe that Drek, how did he get animals from like Africa and all these other rare animals that are like sectioned off? This is, if you believe the Earth is 6,000 years old and this was a couple thousand years ago, how did he get all of these animals from different places? And then how did animals like Komodo dragons wind up in remote parts of the world? And I guess, were they saying that they're water-based or whatever?
They were all let off on what, Mount Ararat?
Yeah, so how did they get from one place to another? They all just stand on magic floaty things and the good Lord floated them over?
Yeah.
I think anybody who believes that the Earth is 6,000 years old is a fool.
Yeah.
That's just, it just can't be right.
So how did the animals get distributed after the flood receded and all of them got off of the boat? Like,
It doesn't say in the movie or in the Bible.
or in the Bible?
Yeah, why would it?
You just assume.
Yeah.
All right, more magic.
Yeah,
Okay.
they just went somewhere and they're kind of exclusive to that part of the world.
Right.
But they all got them from those parts of the world, got them on the boat.
Big giraffes swimming in the ocean, trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. 40 days and 40 nights. We've had a lot of rain here. I don't think 40 days and 40 nights would be enough to have a boat float around the earth.
To flood the
Earth.
The
no.
earth?
No.
And all that water would have to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
In the movie, there are actually springs that shoot up out of the ground to help with the process.
But you do, you know what? You know what I don't get either? The water we have on the earth is the water we have.
Yeah.
No more gets made. It's the full volume of water we have on this earth. How do you make so much as to flood the earth? And then when it recedes, where does it go?
Can I ask a really dumb question?
All right.
Can you get rid of water permanently? Permanently.
Permanently get rid of water. I think you could change its form, but I don't think you
To
could
what?
get rid
Evaporate
of it.
it to steam.
Yeah, it'll evaporate into steam or
But
freeze
that's not getting
into
rid of it
solid.
permanently, right?
No, I don't think you can. I think whatever water we have, I think it stays. Unless you start busting apart the molecules. Wait, let me think.
Right. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So if you get hydrogen, you get like a fuel cell type thing, make hydrogen and oxygen. But I think in the long run, the byproduct of using hydrogen as fuel is H2O again. So I don't think you can really get rid of it.
So when the cities start flooding eventually.
Right. Where does that come from?
We're not going to be able to get rid of some of this water permanently.
I don't know.
We'll be able to build around it a little bit. But
You got to stand there with brooms. Stand there with a broom.
Some brooms.
A broom?
Swip it back.
A broom.
A broom.
Brooms. All right, there.
I might be wrong on this, but I believe in the Bible it says that at the time of Noah that rain had never fallen on the ground.
Ugh.
I believe. I'm not sure.
How really?
Maybe
How
all
everything
that
live.
Just idiocy.
it was the only thing really that lived. It was kind of a barren land.
There's
The only
not
thing that was alive
one
was the garden.
story in that Bible, not one story you could just go, oh, okay. Everything's got this weird little twist to it.
I tell you, Christ rising from the dead after 3 days is the most believable thing in the Bible. What do you do? He got up, moved the rock. I can live with that.
That I can
sure.
probably deal with.
We've all seen Walking Dead.
Of course.
We can accept that one.
Wait, what? The Shroud of Turin is real, even though they're carbon dated it and they've said it's the wrong stuff and it's 2,000 years off. All right, we'll accept that.
I got to
real.
frame it, hang it on my shop wall. I'll give you $25.
Did they throw that thing away yet? Now that they know it's like just
toilet paper.
That's complete nonsense.
Well, could they
That's
really
not connected to Jesus
at all? How could you think that putting a cloth on a guy's face, you're going to get a perfect imprint of his face? When has that ever happened?
I don't know.
It's probably possible.
No.
Let's say hi to Mike. He wants to talk about the missing page of
Mike.
the Bible.
Oh, no.
Mike in Indiana.
How's it going, guys?
Hey.
It's the one where, in the beginning where it said this is a work of fiction.
Yeah, that's the one, exactly.
Oh!
Whoa!
Characters may be coincidental and are fictional.
You ruined the guy's joke.
I'm sorry, man. I apologize.
Great.
Way to go. Way to steal my thunder, man.
I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't know you were going for a joke.
Good job, Mikey. Let's say hi to Art in Pittsburgh. Art.
Hey, guys.
What are you hanging on a wall or something?
Hilarious, Chip.
Yeah.
Grew up
Perfect for a Monday.
What made me start to doubt religion was early on was listening to Bill Cosby's Noah, and it got me thinking about this probably isn't real, and that was a hilarious.
Oh, remember that one? Noah. Yes.
I love that bit.
I remember
Does it hold
that.
up? How old is
I'm
the Noah
sure
bit?
It doesn't.
From Bill Cosby.
I would guarantee you it doesn't hold up.
Why?
I don't know. Old Bill Cosby stuff, it doesn't really
No?
hold up. No.
I think it holds up.
I
haven't
don't
heard
think
it.
so.
The dentist?
I don't know.
His skiing story?
Yeah? How old is that?
They're like 40 years old,
Wow.
probably.
Wow.
How long's the Noah?
Oh, I bet it's fucking... I bet it's an hour long.
It's like 3 minutes.
It's not that
Oh,
long.
sorry.
It's like
It's 3 minutes. Let's at least try.
All right.
Bill Cosby, Noah.
Let's see.
The great Bill Cosby.
It's a black and white TV set.
Well,
You're so young there.
Thank you. I want to talk to you about a fellow by the name of Noah who built an ark. Now, everybody knows, you ask a question, say, what did Noah do? They say, well, he built an ark. But very few people know about the actual conversation that went on between the Lord and Noah.
This is pretty brave.
You see, Noah
for the
was a
time.
carpenter, and he was in his rec room sawing away, making a few things for the home there. Hooba, 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 hooba.
he's sawing.
Yeah. He's looking around.
Hooba, 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 hooba. Noah. Who is that? It's the Lord, Noah. Right. Where are you? What do you want? I've been good. I want you to build an ark. Right. What's an ark? Go out into the woods, collect all of the animals in the world by twos, and make the ark out of cubits, 80 cubits, 40 cubits, 30 cubits. Right. What's a cubit? Let's see, a cubit. I used to know what. Well, don't worry about that. Just go out and collect all those animals by twos, male and female, and put them into the ark. Right. Who is this really?
Who is this?
What's going on? How come you want me to do all these weird things? I'm going to destroy the world. Right. Am I on candid camera?
There we go.
How you gonna do it? Want to make it rain for 1,000 days and drown them out? Right. Listen, do this. You'll save water. Let it rain for 40 days and 40 nights and wait for the sewers to back up. Right.
That holds up,
That's
no?
a good bit. Yeah, I mean, it's like
It's, you know, it's
Coffee
quaint.
was brilliant, man.
It's quaint now. You know.
I think it holds up. That was pretty brave, too, for the time. That looks like it's the early 60s.
Oh yeah, he was fucking brilliant, Bill Cosby, man.
Yeah.
Like what a cause they had zero content freedom on TV to talk about any type of religion or biblical stuff, and being a black guy doing it, like that was definitely a brave thing.
I didn't know I have to build the ark. Why, if God is so powerful, he would have been able to figure that out on his own, right?
Yeah, Noah had to do it.
Why did Noah have to do it?
Always some test.
And what if Noah...
Something some guy's got to do that God makes him do. It's always that.
And what if Noah, collected a dud or two when he was collecting the animals? Would he be in trouble for that?
He probably did. I don't know how that works.
Right.
Killed everyone on Earth.
You fast forward, this is kind of interesting, actually. You got Bill Cosby doing some controversial stuff. That looks like at least 40 years ago, maybe longer.
Yeah.
And then you had Louis C.K. doing some God stuff on SNL this weekend.
And that's made a big tizzy.
Has it really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Who didn't like that Louis made fun of God? Like what?
There's some people that don't appreciate that kind of thing.
I understand.
They say that it was offensive. He was talking about God being a murderer and God being your mother, and it was a very funny bit, very
Absolutely.
Louis. And people, they can't take any type of joking about religion. Now, I do understand that Christianity and Catholicism and whatnot, very open, fair game as far as humor goes, as opposed to other religions.
Right.
And people are just petrified to make fun of Muslims and the Islamic religion. So you don't see that. So when you see somebody doing something about Christianity, it's not really all that fucking brave. They might catch some shit, but it's usually just from Twitter or fucking Bill Donahue. But for the most part, you do something about Islam.
But
there you go. Now you got an issue. Yeah.
I don't think someone like Louis C.K. is doing that material to be brave, obviously.
No, he's just doing it because it's funny.
Yeah, he found something that's funny, and and he worked it out, and he put it on SNL, and it was great.
Yeah, I liked his monologue. He just came out and did stand up.
Right.
That's what he did. No wacky characters coming out or anything like that.
He said he wanted it to be a good monologue too. I saw him working it out during the week a couple times. He's like, "Yeah, I really want this monologue to be strong."
Oh, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, he nailed it. The crowd was a little flat in general.
I don't think they're there for stand-up. It's weird.
Right.
It's like, because I've seen other comics that have gotten up and just done stand-up when they come out and do SNL, and it's just the crowd is just not there for stand-up comedy.
They're not a great stand-up crowd, but they're on live television.
Yeah.
They've never been on TV in any way, shape, or form, much less live TV, so they're nervous too. I mean, the crowd is really weird. I'm never amazed by the audiences at SNL. I think it's because they're on live TV. They're
Laugh, you prick.
What are you nervous for?
Yeah, it's just it's an event. They're nervous for you. I think so, yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Can we hear a little of Louis C.K.'s material that everyone...
Let's hear.
A lot of people have a problem with?
Let it rip.
I can't see it, Sam.
Louis C.K.
Wow, good job.
Oh, thank you.
He looks very comfortable.
Yeah.
I've never been murdered. I'm gonna die someday. I accept that. I don't know what happens afterwards. Some people say you go to heaven. I'm totally going to heaven. I'm going to have, by the way, this is the only voice I know how to do. It's the only voice I have. I can't, like, do impressions. Like, this is my impression of the president. I'm the first black president. Like, literally the first black president.
Doesn't sound like him.
Do you guys think there's a heaven? If you believe you're going to heaven, clap if you think you're going to heaven.
Oh, that's silly.
You think you're going to heaven?
Yeah.
Really? How old are you?
21.
21, and you're a lock for heaven already. You're already got.
He's doing crowd work on SNL.
For 3 years, you couldn't possibly make a mistake. Well, good luck. Personally, I don't think there's a heaven. I think maybe there's a God, but there's no heaven. I think that's the best news you're going to get. You die, and you're like, hey, God. And he's like, yep. And you're like, where's heaven? And he's like, I don't know who's telling people that. What, I'm supposed to make a universe and then another whole amazing place for afterwards? You guys are greedy dicks down there. Well, where do I go? Just stand in this room with me now. I don't like it. Tell me about it. I've been here since 1983. Or whenever. I don't know when God started, but... I'm not religious. I don't know if there's a God. That's all I can say, honestly, is I don't know. Some people think that they know that there isn't. That's a weird thing to think you can know. Yeah, there's no God. Are you sure? Yeah, no, there's no God. How do you know? Because I didn't see him. How do you... There's a vast universe. You can see for about 100 yards when there's not a building in the way. How could you possibly... Did you look everywhere? Did you look in the downstairs bathroom? Where have you looked? No, I didn't see him yet. I haven't seen 12 Years a Slave yet. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'm waiting until it comes on cable. I think if there is a God, I don't know if it's the one in the Bible, because that's a weird story. He's our Father, and we're his children. That's it. Our Father who art in heaven. Where's our mother? What happened to our mom? What did he do to our mom?
This is what people are mad at.
Something happened. Somewhere in heaven there's a porch with a dead lady under it. I want this story. Somebody's got to check the trunk of God's car for bleach and rope and fibers. Well, how can we not have a mother? At least maybe God's divorced. Maybe he has an ex-wife. God's a single dad, and he's raising us alone, and we're praying like, and he's like, I'm trying, it's just me up here. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe your life is your time. This is our weekend with Dad. That's what life is your weekend. And then when you die, you go to Mom's house. It makes sense that God would be a woman, doesn't it? Because you're raised by your mom. I think the reason we made God a man in our cultures is because we want to make sense of the fact that men are in charge. Because otherwise it doesn't really make any sense. Because women, you start with the woman. It's a thing people like to ask, like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Of course it's the egg. Because you can't just make a chicken. You can't just go chicken. You got to start with an egg and grow chicken. And then people say, oh, well, where did the egg come from? From a chicken, you idiot.
That's good.
Women birthed us, women raised us, so why aren't they running things? I think I know why. I think it's because millions of years ago, women were in charge, and they were mean, they were horrible. They made us walk around naked, and they'd laugh at you, and they'd flick your penis when you walked by. They were awful. But what could you do? It's your mom and her friends. Like, what could you possibly do about it? And then one guy punched his mom, and we were like, we can hit them! And then we did the whole thing. But that's why men are mean to women today, because we're terrified of them. That's why we didn't give women the vote till 1920. Women didn't get the vote in this country. That means American democracy is 94 years old. There are 3 people in my building older than American democracy. That's it. Women haven't had a rough time. It was so okay to beat your wife until so recently that today we have a kind of shirt named after it. There's a piece of clothing in our culture affectionately nicknamed after beating the crap out of your wife. And for some reason this is offensive to nobody. I saw a woman on Good Morning America or something. She's like, I was walking around my house in a wife beater. I'm like, stop saying it like it's not horrible. Just wearing a wife beater and child murder shorts. And I'm like, yeah. We have a great show. Sam Smith is here.
There you go.
That's how great Louis is.
I'll say that's the best SNL monologue I've ever seen.
Yeah.
By far. That's the best
Brilliant.
SNL monologue ever.
And that's how great he is. We just sat here and, and watched it. Man,
that was
he
great.
killed it.
But that was really great material, man. That was really that was funny material for HBO.
Right.
That was a great set.
What a great observation about God and no mom.
Well, not according to other people
Who's
out
mad
there.
about that? That's
religious people.
Why?
They say they were very offended that he would talk about God like that. And I even read some tweets from people that were saying, "Look, I normally find Louis very funny."
Shit.
Yes, I know.
That shit. Why can't you be religious and laugh at yourselves?
You can't.
Why?
Because it's very offensive to God and Jesus.
This guy can't be real. Stop it. Bill in California. Bill?
Yeah. Good morning.
Hi.
I think the guy should be banned from NBC, from network TV for those remarks. This is a country founded on Christian principles.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that. Can't do it.
Okay.
But do you feel that he should have the right to say what he wants as a comedian, or do you think he should only kind of say things that push Christian values?
I think he can say what he wants in a private setting, but he's on public airwaves.
But why does that bother you so much?
I'm still not buying this, by the way.
Yeah. On regular radio, we'd get the real people that are against this.
This guy might be joking, but even if he's joking, he still represents a point of view.
Represents a point of view.
Real.
Very good.
Bill, you joking?
Yeah.
Damn it. I missed the days, though, when we got the real calls.
Yeah.
But that is the view that people have.
Right.
Yeah. No, people absolutely have that view.
Silly.
Let's say hi to Derek in Alabama. Derek.
Hey.
What's up?
I was just about the Noah thing. I was going to talk about how, like, throughout history, all across the world, you find different examples of a lot of stories that kind of have similar things. And there are two ways that you can kind of judge them as time goes on. And the one is people having to figure out things. So, like, Jesus, Muhammad, and types of deities are just different cultures trying to figure out and explain life. And then there are other stories like the flood, which probably happened because you got accounts of around the same time in history of all over the world stories about the flood. But the thing is some people kind of get stuck in the idea of having to explain it. And then there are other people, and I'm guessing you guys are probably in this category too, like me, who you watch specials on it and with scientific things, and the answer is pretty simple. A meteor killed the dinosaurs, and a meteor probably caused a flood, because if a giant meteor hits in the middle of the ocean and displaces enough water, then, that's going to flood.
No, it's not.
But by the way, let me ask you, if a meteor was big enough to do that and to cause floods all over the world, wouldn't it have done a lot more damage than it did?
Well, see, I'm honestly, this is off of a documentary that I saw probably 3 or so years ago, so I'm only cursory kind of remembering. So I'll keep that in mind. But it convinced me, because what I'm getting at is usually for me, it's if science comes out and generally speaking incredibly says, here's what most of us believe, I'm pretty well like, okay, as opposed to having to, And the thing what they presented is that, just like a meteor came that was big enough that killed the dinosaurs, is that this meteor came and it caused the flood. Now, you're asking me if I know all the ins and outs. No, I'm just saying that out of the things to believe, if it did happen, that seems to me like, okay, that's fine. That works for me, is all I'm saying. I don't need to get caught up in the idea of, oh my God, it might have happened and how terrible and what, and it's a scientific explanation. It could be wrong, it could be right, but it makes enough sense. And I'm just I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there because no one had called in yet and offered any kind of other thing.
And there's also
thank you, Derek.
The Joseph on Twitter. This is what's wrong with people who misuse words that they hear. Like Joseph says, I'll give comedians credit for religious humor when they go after Islam. Until then, you're just hacks. First of all, you're misusing the word hack. You're trying to express an angry thought because it bothered you, his bit, or you didn't like the bit or the idea of the bit. But to say it's hack, you just make yourself sound like an ill-informed novice.
It's the opposite of hack.
It wasn't a hack bit.
It's pretty brave material and very clever.
It wasn't a hack bit at all. It was a really brilliant
bit. Funny or not, that's up to you. But there's some brilliance there, of course. Some great observational humor.
And going after if you're going after Catholicism and just going, it stinks. I understand the thing. Well, why aren't you saying that? But to me, the singers are more valid points to, like Madonna with the crucifix, like all these fucking cornball singers that just show the cross and do their image of the cross being bad and like so naughty. They're cowards in a way.
Yeah.
But when you're up there and you're actually breaking down why you feel the way you feel, that's not hack at all. And the thing with Islam, believe me, Islam bothers me. But my entire life, Islam has not been preached to me. What Louis was talking about is what I've heard my entire life.
Right.
I have found Islamic sensitivity recently to be slightly irritating or very irritating. But that's not what I heard my whole life. That's not the story that the United States hears most of the time.
Right.
So you're completely wrong, Joseph, on Twitter. So use the terms right, or just be angry and say he sucks or that sucks. But don't try using words like hack when you obviously don't know what they're supposed to be used for.
Let's go to South Carolina. Kent, you're on the Opie and Anthony show. What's up?
How big's your pecker?
First thing I want to say, Jimmy, man, I saw your stand-up thing the other night. It's hilarious. You and Louie.
Thank you.
My favorite comedians. But, I'm a Christian. I've done Bible study, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I laugh my ass off at that kind of stuff. I don't understand why people got to be so freaking serious about everything all the time. I believe in God. I believe in all that stuff. But you can also, admit when something's funny, and enjoy it.
Right.
I don't understand why people get all bent out of shape about, this kind of stuff when somebody says something basically just to get a rise out of, he doesn't say just to get a rise out of people, but, he's just sitting back laughing at this shit, really.
People have a hard time laughing at themselves.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't bother them or it doesn't affect them, then they're all in and they'll laugh their asses off. But as soon as it's too close to home, that's when they tap out and then have to say it's offensive or whatever.
They get a little pissy.
But every time you make a joke, you're pissing off somebody, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Insecurities and stuff like that,
Well, look what happened with Stephen Colbert. I mean, look at the cancel Colbert thing on Twitter.
Thank God they didn't bite on that.
No, it's good though. Well, he's almost untouchable unless he came out and said something so horrible.
Yeah.
He's too big on Comedy Central. But what bothered me about Suey Park and this group is that people, if they initially see that tweet, they just think he's saying Chinky Chong or whatever on a tweet for no reason. And they go like, hey, dude, what the fuck? Why are you doing that? All right, I can see them asking why he's doing that. But A, he didn't tweet it. And B, it was an out-of-context bit. And then in context, he was showing these things are so... Everyone knew what he was doing.
Once you get the context, you should then go, okay.
I did my research.
I'm smart enough to realize now that he didn't mean anything like that.
It's all about a soundbite, though. We all know that.
But they did know the context, and they pushed it anyway because they said, well, even in context, he's still using... And it's like people just want to feel like they have accomplished something. And,
kind of power over other people.
They just want to feel like their complaints moved something in some way. People don't like the idea that they could be upset by something and have it fall on deaf ears.
Well, this guy's very upset. We got Josh in Tennessee. Josh.
He's joshing.
Hey, good morning, boys.
Hey, Josh.
I tell you the thing that really riles me up. I listen to Louis' bit, and I think it's great. I'm a Christian as well, young Christian, studying the Bible, and I find no offense in what Louis said. Matter of fact, I think what he does is great because it brings up questions, and I think that's the main point to develop, some rational talk about these situations. But what riles me up is to sit here and listen to Jimmy say what idiocy it is to believe in certain things like that with such hatred. That's what that boils my I think.
Well, it's not hatred. You're missing. I'm annoyed by it, but it's not hatred. And what I dislike is not the fact that people believe it. It's the fact that their belief infringes on other people's ability to do certain things, or the fact that they want people silenced who make fun of their belief. Or, you know what I mean? That's what annoys me so much. Like, for me as a grown man, for other grown men to think that the Bible is literal, like that, 6 days. Maybe that was just kind of a symbolic of, 6 days. Like, that's the part that annoys me. It's not even what they believe. It's the fact that they're so unbending, and dude, I was raised in Christianity. I went to Catholic school. I made my confirmation. I made my communion. I mean, I'm not some fucking atheist from the age of 5. I've found that it is people who are really religious that have turned me against it.
Well, I can agree with that, and I don't consider myself religious. I consider myself more spiritual, and but I have a hard time. You know, what I'm hearing is you're against dogmatism, and I'm sort of the same way when folks say, well, these things absolutely cannot be literal. Why can they not? Why can they not be on the table?
It defies all logic and reason to a point where to believe anything else, to believe that it's true literally, is foolish.
Yeah.
And the reason I sometimes get angry when you're debating somebody that's highly religious and takes the Bible literally is because I can't believe that people can be sucked into something so easily. It's upsetting to me that people can be this naive and foolish as to believe the literal taking of the Bible.
And policy is built around these beliefs, too, like stem cells. And that's the part that I find I resent. The fact that these religious beliefs affect policies, or the fact that they want to keep gays from getting married and having their rights, because the same people that believe, no, he really did get 2 of every animal, and then are the same people that say, well, that belief now tells me the gays are bad. You know what I mean? It's not just them in their own little house believing this way. They're affecting the rest of us by pushing their beliefs into our daily lives.
When you watch family members get sick or die from something that perhaps if stem cell research was available years and years ago and wasn't fought so hard by the religious right, perhaps something would have been done. That policy is being made based on a fiction book that people believe in, full of ridiculous things.
Well, again, and that's your belief against ours.
Yeah, it is. But I have things that kind of back up what I believe, and everything that comes out of the Bible is backed up with, well, it's God's magic.
And I'll tell you, not to interrupt you, sir, because I know you want to say something, but like I am not so science driven that I think they're always right. Like I think the Big Bang is idiocy. I do not believe in the Big Bang thing. I know that sounds crazy. It might have started that way, but I don't believe it was an atom. To me, the same way I look at this Noah story, which is nonsense, I think that we just don't know enough scientifically to think that an atom blew up with such force that it created what we see. There's something in my mind, I don't care what science is shown with blue shift and red shift, and the fact that there's something they will discover maybe 50 years from now, maybe 1,000 years from now, will show them that, the concept of the Big Bang was kind of there, but the idea of an atom blowing up is just shit. So the problem I have with religion is at least science is always testing and retesting. Bending and throwing out the hypothesis. Whereas religion says, no, the book was written years ago, and that's it.
They're done asking questions.
They're done asking questions. So
that's the difference between science and religion.
Exactly. I don't want to cut you off. Sir?
Yes.
Okay, you want to say something. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, that's fine. I appreciate you guys' views. I love the show, and I
of course you do.
Appreciate your views naturally. But I wonder sometimes if it's absolutely impossible for you to consider these other views. And I know how you feel about Ken Ham, and I heard you talk about the debate. But I would love for you to talk to him sometime.
I missed that.
Ken Ham, Answers in Genesis.
Oh, right, yeah.
Discuss with him sometime.
Yeah, I saw
that. Would be fascinating.
I like them with Swiss and a little mustard.
I've considered those views, sir. I really have, and this is my reaction to those views. I'm not. It's not like I just was handed these views and then the idea that they're nonsense. Like I had my whole life to consider these views and hear them. And the more I heard them and the way I saw people defended them against certain logic without bending, I just began to go, that mentality that I'm looking at right now with this is the same mentality that went into the Inquisition and coming up with the Bible and forcing it that everyone's,
The fact that it's making, you could have a belief, an ideology, an opinion, but the fact that it's affecting millions and millions of lives in a very selfish way is ridiculous. You could have your beliefs, but if we have our beliefs and want to pursue certain medical venues and whatnot, why shouldn't we be able to without having this religion getting in the way?
Right.
Especially when it's
everybody has. It's all about choice, and Y'all have made yours. I have made mine.
I
think we're going to have to...
unless it's a woman's choice.
We're going to have to agree to...
Agree to disagree. Hey,
yeah.
Thanks, man.
All right, buddy. Let's go to Sal and Beth Page, a Catholic teacher. Sal.
What's going on, boys?
Hey, Sal.
I'm a freshman at, I don't want to say the name, but one of the biggest Catholic universities in Queens, New York. And I am a catechism teacher for the Diocese of Rockville Center. One thing is nobody likes making fun of themselves more than the Catholic Church. Yeah, I think that we don't mind people, making satire about us.
Can I ask you not? Can I jump in? I apologize for the interruption. Can I ask you when that began? Because I know they ruined Lenny Bruce. So up until the 60s or the 50s, Catholic Church did not have a sense of humor about itself.
Well, what happened is in the 1960s, at 1963 and 64, the Catholic Church kind of changed its ideology with Vatican II. Now, when I see people going, "Oh, you can't make fun of us because we're so sensitive," we're not. We're one of the biggest we are the biggest religious institution in the world. We shouldn't be so sensitive. And I look at those people and I go, "You are so Vatican I." There's Vatican II, which is this new ideology, which we're a little more open. Now you look at Pope Francis, right? We just went from Pope Benedict, one of the most conservative, strictly business guys that the Catholic Church has ever seen in modern history, Vatican II, to Pope Francis, who is one of the most open-hearted people you will ever meet.
By the way, sorry.
I was just going to say that goes like that every couple of popes. You get a conservative one. It's like a president.
They adjust.
You get a conservative one. You get, John Paul was pretty fucking,
conservative,
No, he was kind of looked at, though, as the young pope.
Right.
When he was first brought on, it was like, oh, this is a new pope we got.
I believe he was very conservative, though, as a pope, even though he was seen that way.
He didn't like no gays, and he wasn't for birth control or anything. But again, you got to look at it in the context of the time also, which is weird. But
and by the way, Benedict, the Catholic Church forced him out. I believe this.
His eggs are great.
Yes, they are. They are. Yes, but he's a traitor to the U.S. and the problem with Benedict was that he, what's his name, Ratzenberger, and he was the guy who ran that whose desk all the pedophile scandals came through.
Yes.
So it was the pedophilia stuff that I think forced him out, and the Catholic Church did that for their image only.
That's what I think too. Yeah. He had to go.
He had to go. He had to. Pope hasn't retired in 600 years.
600 years, you're right. Anything else, Sal?
Bucket.
Another point, if you don't mind.
Sure.
There's two types of views to the Bible. There's two types of way you could read it. It's called contextualism and fundamentalism.
Oh.
The way Catholics look at it is contextually. We look at the context of the Bible and we go, this obviously isn't true. Did Jesus really make Lazarus rise from the dead? Or did he give him new life by saying, Lazarus, come and follow me?
No spoilers.
Did Jesus give sight to the blind? Or did Jesus open their eyes to the concept of God, to the concept of him being the Son of God?
Right.
Did God really wipe out everyone? Or did God tell Noah, look, we're having problems, there's problems in this, or maybe Noah took it upon himself to say, look, we're having problems in our community, in our God following community. Back then it was Jewish.
Everyone's filthy animals.
This is what we need to do. We need a big change. We need a big difference. We need a Vatican I. We need a Vatican II. But back then they used it in this, well, God is really powerful. He wiped out the world. That's how we want people to think happened hundreds of years ago. So that now that they have this respect, almost a fear of God. The term is used, I'm a God-fearing man.
Uh-huh.
Well, why do you fear God? Well, because he caused this huge flood. No, you fear God because you respect his omnipresence. You respect the fact that he's always watching. You respect the fact that he's always part of our lives.
Not a lot of people that put their nose in everyone else's business think that way. They look at it as a literal interpretation of or a literal fucking recitation of what the fuck God said. It's not God's word. A bunch of people wrote that goddamn thing. Oh, goddamn, I shouldn't say that.
Don't say that. That's great.
I'm not going to point fingers at any specific groups. My aunt, well, actually, no, I am pointing a finger. My aunt is a fundamentalist Christian. She's a born again. And my mother is a Catholic Guinea woman. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So When my aunt comes up to my mother and says, you haven't been saved because you don't go to church every Sunday, I said this: being in church every Sunday makes you as much of a Christian as being in a garage makes you a car. That's a fundamental way of looking at it. No, I'm serious.
I like that.
This is what I tell children when I'm teaching them about confirmation.
Sure, about procreation.
No, Uncle Paul.
It's not about being, and I'm being very honest with them, and sometimes I get in trouble for this. It's not about being completely chaste. It's not about being, going to church every Sunday and listening, because you might get bored. That's going to happen every time you go to church. It's about going out into the world and being Catholic, being universal.
Here's my take on the Bible and all this hokum. You could read this book, not assume for a second that it's all literal, and take away from it the importance of certain lessons that the stories tell you about morality, perhaps, or how you should live your life and treat your family, and take away those things from these stories. Like, you'd read a novel, and you could learn from a novel and take away certain life lessons from a character that a writer made up in his head and a situation they put him in. And I honestly think that was the basic intent of the Bible. It wasn't to be read and taken as a textbook. It was meant to use as a kind of a reference as to how you should lead your life if you're into this,
Does it say in the Bible not to blouse out your shirt?
It should have.
When you're trying to pick up a chick at the beach?
Yes, it does, when it condemns homosexuality.
Yes, right, when it says two men shall not lay together.
Yes, blousing definitely falls under that heading.
Hey, Sal, what happens to you when you die?
When you die?
Yep.
Well, we don't know that. Actually, we admit I'm part of a Catholic leadership program.
Me too.
At my school,
we
admit that we're not exactly sure what happens when we die.
What do you think, though? As of now, we might.
As of now, I think what I have to do is I'm telling this to 13-year-old kids. What I have to do is take the Bible as a moral roadmap.
There you go.
To do. Not exactly as Jesus did, because I can't give sight to the blind. I'm not going to try to do that, because that would make me insane.
I have.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to do for the least of my brothers, because if I do for poor, that means I'm doing for Jesus. That's what Jesus said in Matthew 23. Lo, what you do for the least of my brothers, you do for me. And I believe that in doing that, if there is a heaven, and I'm not saying that there objectively is one, I'm saying that if there is a heaven, what you do is you follow this moral guideline, and if there is, you will get in.
If there's a heaven, and by God, I hope there is. Elias is up there smoking shit, laughing.
I'm going up to the spirit in the sky. If that's
right.
Sal, I like your openness, though. I like it.
Absolutely, that's the Catholic Church.
That's right.
Universal.
All right, brother.
Thank you very much.
But instead, we got people that take it literally and keep us from doing medical research and keep kids from getting medication they need.
But Sal's more of a free spirit with his religion.
He sounds like it.
I don't mind that at all.
But I bet he'd be out there with a sign if someone wants to yank a fetus out of her fucking body.
All right.
God damn, yank it.
Phones are lit.
I love these calls.
Yeah.
You want to take more? You want to
take a break? They get to say what they want here. It's like
that's true. We'll take another one.
Let's say hi to Greg in Texas. Greg.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Hey, I just want to let you know right up front, I am a real caller, and I wanted to weigh in on Louis, Mr. Edgy. Well, he gets on NBC and he picks on God. He picks on Christians, but we're safe targets, man, because we're nice people and we don't murder people for their opinions.
Hold on a second now. Not maybe recently, but let's be honest. The history has not been good, sir.
I'm responsible for my actions.
There you go.
Don't pull up this recently.
I'll agree with that, too. Every time I bring up something, somebody always says, what about the Crusades? It's like Crusades, Crusades. That was a long time ago.
Didn't do it.
Let's talk now.
Okay.
Responsible.
If you're responsible, then you should.
Responsible. Wasn't there. Didn't do it.
Fair enough. Then why are you lumping in all Christians? Then how come you're lumping in all people of religion in a good way, but you don't want to take the negative hit either? Like you're saying, we're nice people. A lot of religious people are not nice.
Anybody anywhere?
What's that?
When did you hear me lump anybody anywhere?
Did you not just say you can make fun of Christians because we're nice people?
Yeah, we are. We don't murder people.
Oh, so we don't. So right there.
Let Mr. Edgy get on NBC and talk about Allah. Talk some trash there.
Well, exactly.
I don't think he was trying to be edgy.
But
I don't think he was trying to be edgy, though.
This is something I've said in the past, too. You're absolutely right, sir. I think Christianity is the easy religious target to take. If you make fun of Jews, you could do that if you're Jewish. If not, you will be looked at as an anti-Semite. And Islam is completely off the table because they will fucking kill you.
But Louis doing that, I know the emotion that this guy is saying, because as a comic, like, I don't like to be told I can make fun of Christianity and not Islam. But when a guy actually has a bit about it, just because he's talking about this doesn't mean, oh no, Louis couldn't talk about Islam.
Right.
Islam for us.
He won't.
Islam for us doesn't resonate the way Christianity does, because what's that, sir?
Of course, it resonates. It doesn't.
I'm talking about. Okay, I'm a comic and I know Louis and I write material. I'm talking about with us as comedians when we write material.
Right.
So now you're lumping yourself in with comics, and you know what the process is.
They were born and raised Catholic, so I think they relate more to it. I think they know that if they do Catholic or Christian material, more people will relate to that than they will if you just start going off on Islam.
And it's something like when you talk about Islam, when I write about Islam, and I've bashed Islam, dude.
Jimmy
I did
does Islam material.
Almost every special I've made fun of Islam.
And does Louis? I'm not sure.
And I have a fatwa after Jimmy.
Light. I bet it's very light.
It's maybe rock.
Have you seen my material?
Jesus.
Well, why don't you say something like?
No. You're not answering my question. Have you seen?
No.
Have you seen? Have you seen the material I've done on Islam?
No, I haven't.
Okay, then why don't you just admit you don't know what you're talking about?
I'm pretty sure it's light. You're still alive.
No, it's pretty. It's
let me write a
pretty
joke for you.
accurate.
And I would also on Comedy Central. Hold on. Also, no, I'm not going to let you throw in a dumb thing when you're not contributing anything. You're being like basically an ear troll.
I actually agree with most of all that you've said about Christians butting out.
Yeah, that's terrific. But you're also implying, because you didn't like what Louis said, that
No.
Oh, okay, you're implying maybe that's not why.
You didn't hear what I said.
For whatever reason.
I didn't say I didn't like what he said.
Okay, and I'm correcting myself. For whatever reason, you're saying that he should have made fun of Islam.
Louis like he's edgy. I'm just pointing out the fact that he's not edgy.
First of all, I didn't use the word edgy like it's 1988. I said it was funny. I didn't say. I was happy he did that on TV because I understand the rule. And whether you believe it or not, they really do push back against the religious stuff, even when it's Christianity. You can get away with a bit more of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
you're edgy.
They do push back against it. You don't know what you're talking about, dude. I've written fucking material for television. I know what they allow you to do and what they don't allow you to do.
Yeah. Well, you can probably get away with a little bit more on Saturday Night Live.
Well, you tell us. You would know.
It's network TV.
It's after hours.
All right. Thank you, Greg.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. There's your one more phone call. We should take a break here.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Guys just use these words they heard people say.
Edgy.
It's edgy.
You're being edgy.
I thought his set was great.
It
was great. And you can't watch
From
someone
top
do
to
a
bottom,
brilliant set and make great observations,
Right.
and then all of a sudden go, why didn't he talk about his... That's the annoying part.
And people
'Cause
will
you didn't
talk
want to.
about what they relate to.
Yeah.
Now, you could talk about Islam, and many comics do, in the way of how bizarre it is, terrorism, you can use
9/11, how it affected us here in New York.
It's very rare that you'll get a comic that gets up there and talks about his experiences with Islam, reading the Quran, doing that, because we don't, as Christians, as a primarily Christian, what is it? Judo-Christian, what do they call that?
Judeo-Christian?
Yeah, that one. Country. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. And when you talk about it's like when you tell somebody something about Islam, a lot of times you're telling them something that they don't think about on a daily basis or that they don't know. So you can make fun of something with Islam, but I literally can't go, like, you know, the guy who got in trouble recently for doing that thing about Muhammad. He did that video about Muhammad and they were outraged.
Yeah.
The actors didn't know what they were doing. They were just reading parts, and then it was put together, and that's what it was about with a green screen.
Right.
So that should show you how relatable Islam is to people. If you're going on SNL, How deep do you want someone to go on Islam and just bomb?
Yeah, because you would be like, I don't know this.
And as far as worried about getting killed, he's right. That is one reason. My issue is not that people are worried about getting killed, because I think Islam does react violently. It's the fact that when people say, I'm not going to talk about Islam, just be honest about why. Because they're violent when they don't like what you do.
Right. Be honest about it and say, that's why I don't do that material.
I told you there was one visual I took out of my last special, which I did something about Islamic porn, but I took out one part of it. And I said the reason I did that was because out of context, that one thing, I was saying Allahu Akbar, and I was making the jerk off thing, which made sense.
I remember that.
But if someone doesn't speak English and they just saw that moment, Allahu Akbar, me jerking off.
Oh, Jimmy gets his head cut off.
I don't think I'll get my head cut off.
No, we could hope.
But, please, this fountain of ideas. But I was honest about why I did that. Yeah. Because the reaction by, Muslims can be very violent. I hate when networks soft open. Well, like Comedy Central one time.
You're just going to be more, compassionate and thoughtful you're just scared.
Well, they said, in light of recent world events, it's like the language to me is not truthful.
Yes.
Like, say, hey, look, guys with bomb belts run into places. Just admit that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to say that.
And not many Christians are doing that. Not many Jews are doing that.
Absolutely.
When they are made fun of or used. But boy, those Muslims.
Yeah, but don't act like Christians have never been violent either. Like, because the history of Christianity is fucking horrendous.
Yeah. But again, that's a history thing. And I really, sometimes looking back too far is useless. I mean, you should always know the history, but you can't look at things in the context of this day and age and blame or use history as some fucking cure-all or cover-up for everything that's happened in this day and age. Now, Catholicism and Christianity has had its fair share of abortion clinic bombings and death threats to doctors and actually killing abortion doctors. And there's some violence there, but nowhere near what you get with Islam.
Yeah, Islam is like what are they? It's like 15th century or whatever it is. Christianity,
yeah,
because it's a younger religion,
right? And by the way, I was talking about slavery.
Were you?
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said take history and just use it as a cure-all for everything. That's what I meant.
I did not catch that.
We got our next hour. All right, we'll take a break here.